happen. It's going to be amazing. Thank you first to HMV for having us here. This is a lovely spot. Absolutely. Thank you to all of you for purchasing an album and also submitting some amazing questions. So we're going to have a chat here in a moment. It's going to be a wonderful time. So thank you all for being here. Now all that's left for me to do is to introduce, and hopefully you can go wild and crazy, for Tobias Forge of the band.
Hello.
Welcome. Have a seat when you like.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just gonna put these two.
Hi, folks.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Very well, thanks.
Marvelous. Now, we're going to have some questions from the audience, but to get us started, I was fortunate enough to see, wow, I know it's live.
I can't see anything anyways.
I was fortunate
That's
enough
what they say.
to see the London O2 Arena ritual that happened earlier this year as part of the Skeletor. It was a spectacular show, and to begin, I was wondering, what kind of level of design input do you have in terms of the visuals of the production and the staging? Because it seems like it progresses with the set lists in a kind of important way. How involved are you in that side?
Very. I mean, this time around, we purposely worked together with sort of people from the outside. So I had a friend of mine named Amit, who's done several videos with us over the years. I mean, he did Year Zero, he did Secular A's, Spillways, and for this album, when I made the album, I asked him if he wanted to come back and do a few videos, and then as we were closing in on start doing the show, I asked him, like, would you like to partake? I don't know exactly with what, but I'm leaning towards doing the one thing that we haven't really done, which is sort of a visual, content thing. And I mean, I would love to have you in there because we work very well together. And he said, I've never really done stage. So, I mean, he's done with theater before, so he obviously has and he used to be, he still is, but he used to be in a band. But they were never really big with the production. They were a big song band, but they were never doing production. So he was like, oh, well, I would love to bring in another friend of mine, he said, Tobias Rylander, because he's very, very professional with that. So enters Tobias Rylander, who I met before but never worked with, and he usually works with quite big artists like Madonna and Beyonce, like big stuff, where he's usually asked to come in. There's usually like a blank paper. It's just like the orders is just like come up with something cool. Whereas he came in and obviously a lot of the rules, whatever, like a lot of the setup is already, there are certain guidelines, there are certain things that I've already designed that I want to keep, like the layout of the stage, bits and pieces. But you know, when he came in, he was like, what are set in stone, what's set in stone and what's not? I was like, let's talk. We can talk about anything. And I had a long list of things that I wanted to do for ages that we've never really been able to do. And one was this idea of a several act set list that we had done it previously in a different manner, where we had two acts with an intermission. But that was not what I meant. I meant I want the show to start in one way, and then I want it to transform to a middle part, and then it ends with something the biggest. And then we just started talking. What is that? What are we talking about? But that was, pick a mix of things that we've already done, pick a mix of things that I already had on the list, and things that was suggested based on, him and Amir's ideas and what do you call it, experience. So.
Well, it was quite spectacular the way that unfolded. And there's one song in particular off of the latest album, Umbra, which seemed built for the live stage. You've got the dueling guitar solos with the keyboards, but also there's a moment where you come out of the stage holding aloft a cowbell and then handing that over. What is the significance and importance and value for you of the amazing sound of cowbell that was so key for that song in Umbra?
Well, see, this is how I work. More cowbell, of course, the classic. When I wrote that song, and together with Max Giron, it was an immediate idea that I had when it was introduced. Like, we should have there needs to be something. Oh, of course, a cowbell. Oh, I have a cool idea for that. And during the first day of writing nowadays takes place in a studio, so you're sort of in a studio environment when you write. And at the end of that day, basically, I was like, I had that idea. Like, that's gonna be a part of the song, a part of the show. Let's hope that the song is liked. And fortunately, that went down pretty well. But that is how I see things in when writing. Like, oh, this is gonna be great because in this song you can have that, and I mean, it's the same thought. There's a lot of examples of similar things like that. Where in Mummy Dust, when it was like, what are we gonna, there's gonna be a solo here, but it's like just a guitar solo feels naff. What should it be? Keytar. Oh, a keytar. And then then you have a gag. And that's what I like. You want gags in the songs. And the same thing with My Asthma. Like this big guitar duo, and what is missing? Saxophone.
Of course.
Who can play the saxophone? Oh yeah. But he's dead. No, he wasn't dead at the time. He was not. So that evolved. We evolved. We're progressive. So, or just deal with it. Yeah.
Splendid. Amazing. Now that album's been out for some time now, so it's been had some time for the congregation to enjoy those songs. Has Ghost noticed particular patterns in the non-singles that fans are saying they connect in particular with, or does each song have many fans that say that's their favorite one?
Ooh, I think that the overall chatter about the record seems to have been very, very mixed, where people tend to enjoy certain songs and absolutely loathe others. But this is how it's always been. Ever since the first record. So that's where I have to enjoy a certain amount of Teflon that you've grown onto your skin, because I'm so used to hearing that we've completely changed. But it's always like that. No, there you go. No, that's true. But there's no such album as Melior either, so and that's how I want it to be. You want to evolve and you want to do new things, and that means that you get a certain amount of slack for it. Well, it helps mine too. So Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Now, in terms of the performing live of the newer songs, is there anything in particular for the ones that have been performed live that are particularly satisfying for Ghost to perform, that translated live in a way that was perhaps even better than hoped?
I think a big, maybe not a shock, but like a very positive surprise for us as the tour started was that the new songs. We only really played four new songs on the tour.
Thank you, fact checker.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
great.
It's important.
I'll lean into that later because I might say wrongful things here, incorrect. And we were surprised that they were so appreciated. And because at a certain point you will come to a level in your career when people don't really care about your new release, and they might sort of acknowledge that there's a new single, but as you know, most older bands somehow we're regarded as a new band, even though we've been around for 15 years, like professionally touring, but never mind. But we're still sort of a new band, I guess. We're in the new world. And most older bands that I like and love are I don't really care about the new music, and that's not a diss. It's just that somehow it doesn't really like. I'm sorry, what? What was that?
I also did not catch that, but thank you for your
I'm
participation.
so sorry. It sounded cool. Please update me with what was said. Oh, Palpatine's return. Okay, well, thank you. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
It was very specific in your defense. Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, well, anyway, what I was supposed to come to was that at a certain point, people don't care about your new stuff. And for us, it was a great moment to hear that. Fuck, people do care about a new record. Well, one day I will be sitting here with Fabio, and it won't be as important. You five there, okay, cool.
One thing that has sparked my curiosity is in the music videos of Lacrima and Satan Eyes, there's a kind of practicality to the effects which I think is amazing. The reveal of the monk transitioning into Papa, was that, I know this is very nerdy, but was that a camera rotating around a person, or was that the person flipping in front of a camera? Or is that movie magic and we may never know?
Well, we're not going to ruin it for you.
Okay. Sounds good answer.
Thanks.
You got saved. And then in Lacrima, there's a moment where Papa suddenly has wings, which was a great surprise. I thoroughly enjoyed. What's been the inspiration to have the kind of vampiric aspect in particular for this Papa? Because there's even a line in the song about like a vampire would. What's the kind of inspiration there?
I mean, there's always been a vampiric. I mean, obviously, we're dabbling with goth here, so that's what we do. So it didn't feel like a far-fetched aesthetic. I think in this particular case, in this video, I mean, we've had we've had wings as a prop before for 2 albums, I think 3. For a few albums, 3 now. And
Thank you, fact checkers. Appreciate it.
yeah. And so I think that was just a way for us to not to ruin any movie magic here, but when you make a video, usually before the whole tour starts, that might be a moment where you also take photographs for the cycle, for the magazines and all that stuff. So you have this big area of things there to just try on and put on, and some things work and some do not. And but for a video, you can sort of try them on and you know.
And finally, before we get on to the audience questions, I was wondering in terms of the songwriting for Ghost, given there is a specific kind of thematic lore to it, does that help giving a starting point with songwriting, or is there challenges that are posed by having a concept to kind of dwell within?
No, I mean, I think it's all writing a song can be challenging, but when you write a group of songs that are supposed to be sequenced together, it is almost a detective work where you have to solve a puzzle, where any new addition over here might affect things over here. And that's at least how I work. I know that some other artists don't do that. They just write, oh, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and then you just, okay, 10, cap. Nothing wrong with that. I'm sure I like a lot of bands that does that, but I'm